told to come to America, he comes with his 10 wives. And the guy says he can only come in with one. He said, I don't understand that. Because where he comes from, it's normal to have 10 wives. But the guy says, I don't like your name. Ya Habibi, your name is Smith from now on. So men in this country superimpose their values on others, and that's one of the criminal offenses. Because somebody said to me, what are you going to do with the criminals? You mean the politicians that run the country? What do you mean by criminal? There's no such thing as a criminal. Kennedy lies about things. The Democrats lie. The Republicans lie. They lie all the time. And the newscasts manage news. They don't tell you Douglas MacArthur loused up when he sent 300 men to invade and the Nazis had all their cannons on the beach. And they slaughtered them. They don't tell you that. So they manage news that you're to hear because they're afraid if you hear too much bad news, you stop the war. And the soldiers say, should I kill the guy? And says, do whatever you want. And soldiers are very confused people. They don't understand. So they get them to sing while they're marching so they wouldn't worry about their wives home. What's she doing now? Is she going out with other guys? Is she cooking for the kids? So you sing. It's great to be an American. I'm proud of
No,
it.
they sing, blood makes the grass grow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, soldiers are brought up very differently and very wrongly. So when I was in the Army, I changed the soldiers as many as I can, and I changed a lot of them. And all my friends were Japanese, Chinese, Orientals, Afro-Americans, and I took away their religion first. Then brought them together.
How do you do that?
How do you do that?
How do you take away someone's beliefs, especially religion?
First you say, are you honest? And they say, of course. They always say the same thing. Then in the Bible it says, thou shalt not kill. It doesn't say you can kill Wednesdays and Thursdays. It says, thou shalt not kill. It also says, love your enemy. If a man strikes you, turn the other cheek. Don't hit him back. It says, judge not, lest you be judged. Do you do jury duty? Yeah. Then you live in violation of Christian teaching.
And then how does he react?
There is this Godbuster question.
Use the Bible to undo it. Moses raised the still and the Red Sea opened. God could have put the Jews on the other side without the big show of the Red Sea opening. Do you know what I mean? He didn't need to part the waters. He could have put the Jews on the other side.
How do I explain to people like that weather control is good? Because people are like, oh, you shouldn't control the weather because it's a nature process, but you want to use weather control, right, for certain...
I don't believe there's any natural process.
Yeah. No, how do you tell people that controlling the weather is good, she was saying? Yeah. You want to control the weather?
If you want to take your kids on a picnic, and he's a farmer, he says, then rain, my crops are dying. He prays for rain. You pray for sunshine because you want to take your kids on a picnic. If God listened to everybody, you'd have all kinds of stuff happening. He couldn't answer prayers.
What, do you want to control the weather in the future? And do you think that's a good thing?
Well, you want it to rain where the plants are, not where any city where it rains, it interferes with the operation. So in the future, man will control the weather and make it rain where it needs to rain with their plants. Now, airplanes today have scanners in front. They scan for the weather, radar. And if it's very bad weather up ahead, the plane will fly above the weather. But that's done automatically.
I have a question.
Yes,
what is your opinion on genetically modified crops?
I'm against it.
Why?
Because
it help?
it takes years to see the negative effects. And if you don't do a long-term study, you can make a lot of money by increasing shelf life of food, by adding ingredients that are toxic. That's the germs, it kills the germs on the bread, but that kills human tissue too. So they don't give a shit. If you can extend the life plant in the markets, they make more money. So since money is the main dominator of what we do, he's not about to share his production methods with me because he will lose a competitive edge. Do you understand that? But he doesn't come to me and say, Jacque, you can increase production by arranging your production machines this way. He will lose investors. So you keep the ideas to yourself. But they tell you to be ethical. How can you be ethical? Not sharing ideas. So we're all corrupt in this system. We're all prostitutes. You can't teach what you want to teach. You have to teach according to the educational curriculum. If you come up with your own ideas, they'll call you into the office and say you're deviating from the teachings. This system is controlled. All systems are controlled. Even in the parking lot says no left turn when you leave. And then it also says parking for Mr. Jones only. So you have to park where the teachers park, you know. You can't park any place. So the minute you punch that time clock, you're under the dictates of that industry. Even a pilot can't do a loop with the passengers in the plane. He has to be obedient to the flying rules. Thank you. Do you understand that? So marriage is an institution, and you got to follow that. When you study, when you pledge, the woman has to pledge obedience to the male. That's easier to manage if they do that. But women should be obedient to whatever thought she has.
And I had a question also about the lending. How that would work? Like if I'm a musician, I want to like play piano. How are you going to like? Do you inquire like the city, like the population, and then see how much instruments are going to be in a certain area, or how will that work? Like,
Well, it's just like if you want to go out on a boat on the weekend, and you survey how many people do that, then you build more boats.
And
Then
they
you-
check out.
Then
You
you
know
need,
what I mean?
yeah. So there's nobody waiting. There's nobody asking others, can they go out that day?
People
There's
don't
not
want to
enough.
own anything. That's a
you play
burden.
pianos, like if I say, oh, I'm
You have
going
more
to...
than
What you want is the use of something when you want it.
get
You know
minimum.
what I mean? That's what you really want. You want a car outside your house so you can use it. But you don't need to own it. But when the car needs service, it says, I'm going in for a service check. And your car rides in, plugs in, and it tells what it needs. You don't need a guy looking under the car saying you need a valve job, and then all that can be automated. We're going to automate everything that's monotonous. If you're a teacher, whatever subject you teach will be automated with you as a virtual image, full size. And when the children raise their hand, you say, what is it? And the child says, can we have pets? And all those answers are put out there. I don't know if you can understand the next thing. TV will become 3D without glasses, you know that. The next thing is TV will produce full-size images. Women live longer than men. So if your husband died when he was 72, you can generate, if you take pictures of him, getting up, sitting down, turning around, you can generate full-size image, but you can put your hand through them, and you don't want that. You want to be able to touch. The next thing on TV is teletactile. You know what I mean? Where you can touch. How is that done? You don't know. Here's how it'll be done. If you don't understand me, say, I don't get it. When you stick your finger in the cold water, the nerve endings transmits that to the brain. Same finger in hot water, same nerve endings transmit a different signal to the brain. If you can make a recording of what that signal is, play it into the finger, you can play hot water, cold water. And if you take the tongue, has these V grooves in it. When you eat bacon and eggs, it falls into the groove and titillates a nerve on the bottom of the groove. If you can make a recording of that, you can play bacon and eggs into the tongue. You'll be able to simulate people that walk around. You can, if your husband died 10 years before, you can go hold hands and go for a walk with him.
I know, I saw that in Japan, they have
Teletactile. You know what that means?
Not teletactile,
Right.
no.
Instead of grinding up leaves and blowing in the ventilator so you can smell the flowers, they affect the olfactory nerve with the same flack that a violet would smell. If you can play the same signal that a violet plays into your nerve, you can play any odor. Garlic, onions, anything. Do you understand what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes, it's vibration.
That's the next thing on TV, teletactile.
Holodeck from Star Trek.
What?
Holodeck from Star Trek.
Yeah, but with tact, you can touch because
And in Star Trek you can touch.
yeah, because machine knows where your hand is, and machine is and computer is sending signal to your nerves what to feel.
Yes, exactly.
But we won't need that in the
But
future.
the future will be so different than
What
it
about
is today.
brain-computer interfaces?
And there'll be no bills to pay, no taxes and no money. As long as you got money, you can sell drugs, pay off lawyers, politicians. So you must, if you want a world without corruption, you must do away with money. So you can ask your children to write a book on the future. You'll notice how steep they are in the traditional values. It's hard for them to step out and think fresh. Like if a man came from Mars and he had 6 arms, most women go, ugh, especially if he had a pointy head. Instead, if you say, what do you do with the 6 arms? I can eat soup, pet my dog, turn the pages of a book, eat soup, say goodbye to Uncle Harry. You only have 2 arms. What do you do with your pointed head? I can swim twice as fast as you. We don't ask for the good quality. We think our people look good. There's no such thing as beauty. That's made up by man. If he's handsome, she's not good looking, and you pick up those values and you look at people differently. If you marry the most beautiful girl in the world and she turns out to be a pain in the ass, that face becomes ugly to you.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
After 4
That's
years.
why in the future we never tell people this is beautiful, that isn't. They say, how do you react? I say, well, I like John, he's a nice person. That's all. But you can't say, that's beautiful, that's right, that's wrong. There are better ways of doing things. You say this improves something if you do it this way. So I meant,
Are you saying that there aren't any innate conceptions of beauty in a
well,
man?
there's a certain innate thing like the knee reflex.
What about the symmetry of the face and
Yes, that's
and,
genetic.
what?
That's
Are you saying
controlled by the gene. The color of
But
the eyes,
how we perceive the beauty.
no.
There's no
That's
such thing.
man-made from then on.
You know, in some
What about
cultures,
the waist
in
ratio?
some cultures, they feed the brides to be, and they put them in a little room and they just feed them and feed them and feed them till they're really, really fat, because
The chief likes it.
the guys like the women really fat. In other cultures, they're anemic, you know.
What about the study
Egypt-
that was done
in Egypt.
with the tribal people with the hip to waist ratio?
He's talking about they think beauty is innate with symmetry.
That's a projection. In other words, if the movies show you hire guys that work for your company that look dignified, when a guy with a crooked nose comes for a job, or ears that flare out, say, I don't want that guy working for my corporation. Your books, your movies, your experience determines that. Unfortunately, there are many creative people that would help your industry, but your bigotry and prejudice that you learn from movies, like in the real world, if a guy insults your wife, and you say, what do you say about my wife? He says, a goddamn whore. You want to punch him, but he can punch you and knock you flat on the ground. In the movies, the right guy always wins. In the real world, the right guy can knock you flat on your ass. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. The real world is not like